Hello and welcome to ATech. My name is Akshay, and in the next part of this C# tutorial for beginners, we will see types in C#. Okay, so before learning what are types in C#, we should know how types are managed in C#. Okay, so there is one common type system, that is CTS in C#, which manages all this type in C#. Okay, so we will see that, and we will also see what is the difference between value type and reference type, and also what is value type and reference type. All we will see that. So first we will have to understand that what is this common type system. It specifies how data types are defined and handled at runtime for a managed application. Now what is managed application? Managed application or a managed language is one which is managed by CLR. So now what is CLR? That is Common Language Runtime, that I have completely and in very detailed explained in my .NET Framework tutorial series. So if you are not aware about CLR, so please check that out, because I will be not discussing that here. So coming back to this video, now data type under .NET Framework is also called as managed type. Okay, so as we have said that, as I have told you that CLR is managing any application, then that application will be managed application, and likewise a data type under a .NET Framework is called as managed type. Okay, here as you can see in this definition. Okay, so what CTS also provides us, it establishes a framework that helps enable cross-language integration, type safety, and high performance code execution. Now what all this terminology means, that it says that it helps us enable cross-language integration. Now I have already told you in my .NET Framework tutorial that there are many languages that are integrated into .NET Framework, and there can be possibilities that both two languages or two or more languages can communicate with each other. So that's we call as cross integration between the languages. Okay, so that can be happen, and this CTS is the one which establishes a framework that helps us doing this. And again, type safety is provided. That we have talked about what is type safety in a previous video of this tutorial series, that is a part 1 of this tutorial series, so please check that out. And high performance code execution. Okay, so second, it provides an object-oriented model for implementing user-defined references and value types. Now, we will be talking what is reference type and value types. So for that, to define our reference type and value types, it provides us one object-oriented model which helps us building that. Okay. So third, that is it defines rules, that is common language specification. Okay. So there is one rule that is common language specification, which tells us which we have to follow, which language must have to follow to ensure that objects written in different languages can interact with each other. Okay, so in this first point, what we have said, that it can help us cross language integration. So for the cross language integration, for two languages to be communicated with each other, their objects needs to be interact with each other. Okay, so that's how that defines this common language specification, which helps that objects of the different languages to interact with each other. Okay. Fourth, that is it provides a library that contains primitive data types such as boolean, byte, char, int, and uint used in application development. So now these are all the types which are primitive types, or also called as built-in types. So that we will all be discussing in this tutorial, so don't worry about that. Okay, so now what are the types in C#? There are broadly two types in which the types can be divided into C#. Okay, so first, which is built-in types. So in built-in types, there are boolean types, that it contains bool, which values can be true or false only. So we will see all these types in action. So don't worry about that. Just see first what are all these types are. So second, that is integral type, which contains this char, s, byte, short, etc., etc. Floating types, that is float, double, decimal types, string types, and array types. Okay, so second category is user definable types. Now why it is called as user definable? Because we can define these types, we cannot define these built-in types. Okay, so they are already predefined, but these user definable types, we can define them. Oh, and we will see that also in action, everything, so don't worry about that. And first, that is user definable type is struct type, second is class type, third interface type, fourth that is enum type, and fifth that is delegate type. Now in this tutorial, that is today's video, we will only be learning these built-in types in very great detail. In an action we will also see them. But this user definable type we will be learning one by one in very great detail in later videos of this tutorial series. So don't worry about that. Just remember that these are user definable types. So that's it for this part. So we will be discussing them in a very great detail in a later videos. So don't worry about that. Now what it again says, types are further divided into two very important categories. What are these? That is the value types and reference types. Now what value types contains? There are boolean types, integral types, floating types, and nullable value types. Now all we will see in a very great detail. So don't worry about that in today's video only. And second type is reference type, which contains class types, interface types, array types, delegate types, and string types. Now if you carefully see, guys, that in this user definable type there is the structure, class, interface, enum, delegates. But it is not necessary that these user definable types are reference types. It is not necessary. Okay, so if you can see, this class is a reference type as well as user definable type. This interface is a reference type as well as user definable type. But if you see, this enum is not a reference type, as well as there is no structure structure contains here. Okay, so we will be talking about them in a very great detail. Don't worry about that. Just try to understand this, that it is not necessary that if any type is a user definable, then that needs to be a reference type. No, if you can see, this string type is a built-in type. Okay, and that is a reference type as well. And similarly, this array type, which is a built-in type, and that is a reference type as well. And what are the value types we have seen? That is integral type, floating type, and nullable value type. Now we will see what is nullable type, value types, everything. So don't worry about that. Let's just first see what are all the built-in types in C#, and again we will see some more details about them. So for that, just look at this table. These are all the built-in types in this table. Okay, so that this is char first. It is range from U plus 000 to U plus FFF. Now what this U stand for? It stands for Unicode. Now what is Unicode? It is an international standard for encoding, which all the languages scripts that supports. Okay, so there needs to be one format in which some data can be stored and some data can be retrieved from. Okay, so often you have seen that in any platform they ask us to choose any language. So there are number of languages which they have given in options, like US English, UK English. It is one standard, that is US English, and UK English one standard. So just like that, there is an international standard for encoding in which this char stored is data. Okay, so which size is its size is 16-bit, and this FFFF means this that it is a range up to 65353. Okay, so you can check that out in internet. You will be find that information. But my job is to just tell you how this data types works. But this more information I'm just showing you guys for the sake of simplicity only. Okay, so and again what it says, that is last column, .NET type. So it is coming from this system.char class. Now this is an alias for this type. This is a keyword, but it is coming from this class. Okay, so that is which is in this namespace system. Now what are the namespaces we have seen in the last video? Please check that out for if you are not aware of namespaces. So it is coming from this namespaces, that is system, and it is present in that class char. Okay, now second, there is a S byte. Now what is this range says? -122, -122, 127, and it is a signed 8-bit integer. Now what is signed and difference between signed and unsigned? Signed means this type can have negative as well as positive values, but whereas unsigned values only can have positive values. Okay, so again this S byte, it is coming from this system.s byte, and this byte is coming from system.byte, and which is unsigned byte. This is a signed byte, so this S stand for signed. Okay, so which is signed byte, signed 8-bit integer, and it is unsigned 8-bit integer. Now I want to tell you that starting from this S byte to this U long, these are all the integer types only. If you can see, it is a 8-bit integer, 16-bit integer, 32-bit integer, which is unsigned and signed as well. This long is 64-bit integer. U long, that is unsigned, is 64-bit integer. And if you can see here in .NET types, these are all only integer types. Okay, if you can see here, only what is the difference? It is a int 64 int 16 class. This is uint 16, this is int 32, uint 32, int 64, uint 64. So these are the only aliases. These are only aliases for this. Okay, that is u short int, uint long, u long, and we will be only learning this main integer data type. So these are all nothing but this type of this int only. Just what is the difference? This can store less number of data, and as we go on and on, it will just store more number of data in this type. Okay, so we will see everything that in action, so you will understand this better, so don't worry. Just see another data type, that is float, double and decimal. Now this float also has this approximate range, this double has this range, and this decimal has this much range. Okay, so what is precision? Precision means floating. First of all, what float type is? Float type is we can take anything in a decimal, that anything in a fraction. Okay, so we sometimes see that there is a number in a point, so there can be a number that is 13.25. so that point, after point there is a 25, that is a precision. That is the precision for that number. So it says it can have this precision 6 to 9 digits, it can have double, and this double can have this 15 to 17 digits, decimal can have 28 to 29 digits. Okay, and these are all the size, that is 4 bytes, 8 bytes, 16 bytes, and it is coming from this float coming from .NET, and this float coming from system.single, this coming from system.double, and this coming from system.decimal. And now, as the way I have arranged this in the table, that is in ascending order of their sizes. Okay, so this decimal has the biggest size. After that, after comes this double, after comes this float, and after after that u long, long, and so on. Okay, so that's how these are all the built-in types in C#. Let's see them in action first. Okay, and after that we will see what is value type and reference type, all that. So don't worry about that. But for now, let's see all these built-in type in action. Okay, so for that, let me fire up a Visual Studio. Okay, so we have also talked about Visual Studio in previous video, so let's check that out to know everything about Visual Studio. I will just fire up this. Okay, let's create one project, and I will choose one console application, very simple application. We just have to see data types only, so we don't have to take any other application. So I will create that only, which is console application, the .NET framework. Again, guys, I am again and again just saying this, that if you are not really aware of what .NET framework is, and this is very important, you should know everything about .NET framework first before learning C#. So because there are very functionalities in .NET framework, and which is managed, and this C# language is also very much managed by .NET framework only, so you have to understand that first. So that's why if you are not aware of that, just check out my .NET framework tutorial series. Link you will find in the description of this video below. So coming back to this video, let's give this a name, that types in C#. Okay, types in C#. Okay, so special characters are not allowed, so that's why it prevent me to use that. Okay, this is a very simple program. We will just get rid of these extra namespaces. We don't need this. Okay, so let's just talk about first, that is a bool data type. So we have seen in our slide, that is bool can contain only either true or a false value. Okay, so how that I will show you. Let's just take this bool data type, and let's take one variable, that is maybe check. Okay, so we will store for now true value in this. And one thing again I want to tell you, that if you don't store anything in this, then the default value of this bool will be false. Okay, so but for now we will storing this true value. And again, now why we use this bool data type in our program? So what is the use of this bool? So what is the use, I will show you. let's just print one message to the console. And how that we can do, we know we have a console class. In that console class there is a writeline method, and let's just print this message, that is types in C#. Okay, and it will run. So we will run this. Okay, so it is printing our message, that is types in C#. So but what if we want to put certain condition? If that condition is only true, then we want to print this message, otherwise we don't want to. Then in that condition, these bool data types are so much useful. What we can do, we can give certain condition, that is in this if condition. Let's just check if this check is equal to equals to true. Okay, and if that is true, then and then only we want to print this message. Otherwise, in else block we want to print condition is false. Okay, and now try to run this. It will run this time, it will work this time. Okay, so because condition is true, so it is printing our message, that is types in C#, because this check is equal to true. So that's what is and that is the value which we have stored in this check. But now if we stored false into, and now if we stored false into this check, then this time this condition is false, and that message from the else block will be print. Okay, so that is what the message is printing from else block, that is condition is false. So that is how we can use these bool data types in our program. And this is not really a way we use these bool data types in our program. So this is a very basic demonstration I have shown you. There are many other conditions we can use. We can have many uses of these bool data types. So this is a very basic demonstration I have shown you for the sake of simplicity. So that's how we use bool data type in our program. So I will just get rid of this now. So let's just talk about data type, that is char. Okay, so for if I take this char as my data type, and let's say a variable name, that is name, is equals to what this name suggests us, that this is a char, means a character. We can store character in this variable. Now keep in mind that this char can contain character, and there is again one ASCII format. What this is ASCII format is, which is American Standard Code for Information Interchange, which defines a number to represent English letters, digits, or various punctuation symbols. Okay, so what this means, I will show you. There is an ASCII, there is a number associated with each letter or with each digit. So we know that machine can understand only a language of 0 and 1, that is a bit language. So data needs to be stored in that language only. So whatever data we store on the machine, when it gets stored into the machine, it is stored into behind the scene, is stored into 0 and 1's language only, that is digital form only. So whether this type is a character, but whatever this character, let me take one character, that is A. Okay, so at the end this character will be stored into machine in a digital format only. So there is a ASCII number which associate with this A, and I will show you that which number it is. Let's say take another character, take another char, that is name, that is number. Let's say number equal to 65. Now it will throw error, because this is a number and we are storing that into a data type of char. But what we can do, we can cast that to char. Now what is this casting and data type conversion? We will be having a great discussion, and we will see them in a great detail in our data type conversion video. So but for now, don't worry, I will use this to show you only that this is one number ASCII this is one ASCII code which is associated with this character. Okay, that is A. To show that, I am just casting this number to this character. But again, don't worry about them. casting and data type conversion, we will see them in a very great detail in our later videos, so don't worry. And for now just focus on this. Let me have one console class here and writeLine method to print that character. Okay, that is first name, and I have to take I have to take this both the variable in console, and I have to print both this number and I have to print both this variable to the console. So that's why I have to use this placeholder. Again, don't worry about what placeholder is. We will be having great discussion on that too when we will learn the string types in C#. Okay, so today in today's video we will learn everything about built-in data types, but the data type that is string and array, we will be having a great discussion on them, on those two, and the user definable types in a very great detail in our later videos, because those are very vast concept. Okay, so that is why. And don't worry about now what is this placeholder is. Just focus on this concept first, that is what is this char means, what is this char data type is. Okay, and I will run this. Okay, so it is printing A and A. Okay, but here we have stored this 65 to this number. So how it is printing this A? So from this we can say that this 65 is a ASCII this 65 is an ASCII form of this character A. That is, this 65 is a ASCII code which associate with this character A. And similarly there is an ASCII code for B also, that is 66. So we will see that also. It will print B. It will print B only. Okay, it is printing that A and B. A which is this coming from this name, and B that is coming from this number which is 66, and which is an ASCII code for this B. So from that we can tell, so from that we can say that there is a ASCII code associated with this every character. Okay, we have seen only one or two. You can try that by yourself, that for every character what are all the ASCII codes, and I have shown you that how we can do that. So from that you can do that for remaining character as well. Okay, so that is all about the char and how we can use this data type to print also on the console, that we also see, that we have also seen. Now the next data type, that is byte. So we will not talk about as byte, so we will directly see byte. There is no difference, just the difference is that one is unsigned byte and another is signed byte. That is, and also that I have told you what is the difference. Unsigned bytes can have only positive numbers, but signed byte can have positive as well as negative. And not only byte, but any unsigned or signed integer as well, they can have, unsigned can have positive and signed can have both positive as well as negative. So now we will see the data type, that is byte. Okay, so for byte, let's just see one example. Okay, so let's just take any variable, that is number. Okay, I just stored 50, let's say, in this, and it should work. Okay, it will work without any issue. Don't. But what I want to show you that wait for that. Okay, I will print this number. Okay, it is printing that 50 number. And if you remember, we have seen the range of this byte, that is 0 to 255. Let's just try to store 256 into this byte, to this byte. Okay, and let's see what happens. Okay, first we will try to store 255. So it is working, it is not giving error, and we will try to run it. It will run. Okay, it is printing that 255. Now let's just try to store 256. It's giving error at the right there only at a compile time itself. Okay, so it says constant value 256 cannot be converted to a byte. So that's because we have already seen here that this is a range in which we can store any number into this byte. Okay, so from that we can say this is the range that is 0 to 255 for a byte. Now let's just see what this int data type is. I will not show you guys of that what is the short, u short, as I have already told you that these are nothing but also integral type. Just what is the difference? This can store less number as compared to this int, and this long and u long can store more number as compared to this int. Okay, so let's just directly see that what that int data type is. Okay, so for that let me take here one data type that is int, and now as I have changed that data type from byte to int, we can store this to 256 number now. Okay, because the range is big. For int there is a big range. Okay, and again one thing, and it will run. Okay, it will run. We will see that first. Okay, 256. It is printing 256. And again one thing, as I have also told you that these are coming from this .NET type, that is system char and system int and so on. Okay, so for that what we can do to see that if it is really coming from there, just hover your mouse here and just, okay, so let's go to definition of this. Just right click on that and we will go to the definition of that. Okay, so if you can see, it is int32, and as we have seen here, this int has this .NET type, that is system.int32, and which is the same thing can be seen here also. This is basically a type of structure. Okay, so this structure is also a value type. Okay, and this int32 also a value type. Now what are value types and reference types, that we will see in this video itself, so don't worry about that for now. But what I have told you, that this int32 is the class for that int. Okay, so that int is nothing but an alias for this int32. Okay, and this is coming from this system namespace or system assembly, we can say. And what are assemblies we know, and what is assembly we know, we have learned that in .NET Frameworks tutorial series. Okay, so, and what we also can use instead of this int32 as well. Okay, like this, and this is one and the same thing. Okay, that int is nothing but an alias for this int32. Okay, so either you use this or you use that alias. Okay, so if I try to run this will also work. Okay, 256, it is printing 256. Now what are the next types? That is float, double and decimal. Now again I want to tell you that I will not show you guys all these data types. I will show this double or maybe float only, because this float, double and decimal are all are of same data type. Okay, so these are nothing but decimal types only. Okay, maybe there are different .NET type, that is single, double, decimal, but all they are all the floating types. Okay, as we have seen in this first slide. And this decimal is a decimal type, but there is no much difference between this floating type and decimal type. As I have already told you, there is a bigger range only in this decimal. We can store data, and there is smaller range as compared to this decimal in this double. Okay, so there is not much difference. So let's see that what are these float, double types in action. Okay. Now let me make this data type as a float, and I have given this number. Okay, and just let's try to run this. Okay, so it's printing that number. Okay, now let's just quickly see which .NET type this float contains. Okay, so go to definition. Okay, so as I have shown you that the .NET type is single. Okay, as you can see here, this .NET type, that is system.single. So it is coming from this single type, which is a structure of type structure. And what is the structure, everything we will be discussing in very great detail. For now, just don't worry about this. Okay, So this is a very basic demonstration I have shown you with types, and whenever we learn data type conversion or casting in C Sharp, we will learn in a very great detail about all these types. So don't worry about that. Just for now, I have just given a very basic demonstration about these types. What are all the types in C Sharp? So we have learned what are these built-in types. Let's just see what is the value type and reference type. Okay, so. And again, don't worry about this user definable type. Just keep in mind that, okay, let me show you one thing. Okay, so why it is called as user definable types? Because user can define them, but built-in types that are predefined, user cannot define them. So user cannot define them. So let me show you that. Don't worry. Now what we can say, now what we can do, this program, we know this program is a nothing but of type class. So this class is a user definable type. So this is how we can define this type, that is a class. Let me just take this int. Okay, int or int 32 maybe, and we cannot do something like this, that is int 32, and let's say I have take one name that is maybe a type, and I am doing something like this. No, we cannot do this. What it says, program type property or indexer must have at least one accessor. Private member program.type is unused. Okay, so whatever it says only that these are all the built-in types and you cannot define them. Okay, and that's why also if you go outside this class, you will not even find this reference for this. You will not even have a intelligence for that int. Okay, if I type something like this int, okay, we cannot even find the intelligence for that, but we can have intelligence for this interface. Okay, we can define this interface like this. Let's say any name, that is interface, and we can do something like this. Okay, it is not giving any error. Okay, but we cannot do something like this. Okay, again we can do something like this, enum. Okay, enum message, let's say. Okay, we can do something like this. We can do something like this as well. Sorry. Okay, we can define this structure as well, and that is why they are called as user definable types. But we cannot, so this delegate also we can define, this interface, enum, class, but these are all the built-in types which we cannot define in C#. So that's why these user definable types are called as user definable types. Now we will see what is this value type and reference type, and for that let's just see this diagram first. In the left side you can see something like this stack, and in the right side there is a heap. Now value types are always stored on this stack. That is, whenever you define any value type, the variable of that type, it gets stored into this stack, and whenever you define any type, that is a reference type, the variable of that will be only on stack only, but it is pointing to the object which is present in this heap. Now it is a very wrong assumption that variable of reference types are stored on heap. It is not something like that. Variable will always be stored on the stack only. There will only be a pointer to the reference type from that variable, or we can say there is a variable which holds a reference to the object which stored on heap, and object is of reference type. Okay, let me show you something, that this is the hierarchy. Now in C#, all the classes or we can say all the types that have a one base class only, one base class only, that is a system.object. This is the base class for all the types in C#. So this system.value type is coming from this system.object only, and this reference type, that is class, and all the other reference type which I have told you that they can be interface, delegates, and etc. And the system.value type is coming from this system.object only, and this system.value types contains this system.int32 and other value types that I have told you, that is boolean types, integral types, and nullable types. And nullable type, and what are nullable types, we will see that, so don't worry. So from this what we can say, any type in this C sharp, it has the main base class, that is a system object. Everything that is present in this C sharp, it is coming from ultimately from this system dot object. Okay, so and now we know these reference types are always stored onto this heap memory of the machine. Now basically, if you guys not aware of what is stack and heap, so it is a very basic fundament, it is a very basic mechanism of the computer system. That computer system have two memories, that is stack and heap. So there is always some type of data that is stored into stack and some type of data that is stored into heap memory. So I have told you that value types will always be stored on this stack, and the reference type, that are object. Now we have not yet talked about object, what are object and classes in a very great detail. So that's why you will not be able to understand right now that what an object is. So whenever we will learn what is class and what is object, so you will understand that. But for now, just remember that every reference type will always stored in this heap, and pointer to that reference, it will always be on stack only. So there will be a variable which stores a reference to that type which is stored on this heap, or maybe an object which is stored on this heap. Okay, so from that we have understand what is value type and what is reference type, and where value type gets stored and where reference type gets stored. Now I have promised you that I will show you what is nullable types, and that nullable types is also a value type. So for that, let's jump into Visual Studio. Now let me just get rid of this code. And now we know this int is a built-in type. Now we know this int is a built-in type as well as a value type. Now in C sharp, value type cannot contain null values. How? I will show you. If I try to store this null value into this int, it will throw an error. Okay, this red squiggly line shows cannot convert null to int because it is non-nullable value type. So value types in C sharp are non-nullable, but with C sharp 2.0 they have introduced something nullable types in C sharp, so that value type can contain null values. How? I will show you. There is a type, that is nullable type, which I have introduced from C sharp 2.0, and we can define them something like this, that is nullable, and whatever type of nullable type you want, that into this angular brackets and the variable, and that now that's how you can store this null value to this integer. Okay, if you don't want to use this much code, then you can get rid of this, and what you can simply do is you can use this question mark in front of this null, in front of this int. Okay, so this is one and the same thing. Either you use that nullable and that put this type into the angular bracket of that nullable, and or you can use this question mark like this. So this question mark is nothing but a nullable type operator. Okay, and now what are the operators and what are all the different operators in C sharp, that also we will learn in the next part of this tutorial series. So don't worry about that also, or maybe to next part of this tutorial series. So for now, this is how we can store nulls into value types. Okay, so coming back to our slide, let's just see difference between value type and null types, value types and reference type. So what first point says, they are stored on stack, and reference type, that is they are stored on heap, and that I have shown you, okay, in this diagram. Again, second point, that is they are faster to access because no multiple indirection is there, and reference types are slower to access due to the multiple indirection. Now what this means? Now I have told you that reference types are get stored into heap, but actually there is a variable on stack which holds a reference to the reference type which is present on this heap. So there is a multiple indirection. Now if you want to access this reference type in our C sharp code, then we have to go through this stack variable which is present here, and then this variable holds the reference of this heap, and that's how we can access this reference type. But in contrast the value types are directly stored onto stack, so that is why there is no multiple indirection is there, and that's why this value type are faster to access in comparison to these reference types. Okay, and third point, that is they always extend system.value type and cannot be used as a base type for other types. And in contrast, that is reference type, they can extend any other class and can be used as a base class for other class. Now what this means I will show you in an action, so don't worry. But before that, the first point, that is they always extend system.value type. Now in this diagram we have seen that all this value type, from where all this coming, this system.value type. So this system.value type extends. Now what is this extend, inherit? So don't worry about that, because it is all the part of inheritance classes that we will be learning in a very great detail. But for now, just remember, if any class extends, means if this is extending this system.value type, means it has the base class, that is this system.value type. Extending means extending the feature of a base class. Okay, so don't worry about that, we will learn that in a very great detail. But for now, this system.value type is a base class, means this value type always extends this system.value type. And in contrast, what reference type extends, they can extend any other class as well as they can be a base class for another. Now what it says, this value type will always extend the system class, not any other class, and also they cannot be a base class for any other classes. But in contrast, reference types can be treated as a base class for other classes, and also they can be inherit from another classes. So we will see that in action, so you will understand it better. Let's just see. Now we already seen this is a value type, this int is a value type. Okay, so just go to the definition. Now you can see here, now you can see here, this int32 class, this int32 structure, can you find any class from which it is coming from, it is inheriting from, or any base classes it is extending? No, these are all the interfaces. Now this I stand for interface. This is the convention to create any interface. So again, don't worry about what is interfaces, we will see that in very great detail. But for now, if you can see, there is no base class for this structure, that is this value type. And also we cannot use this int32 as a base class for any other class or any other type. Okay, so try to use that. Okay, so it is one class, it is one type here, and let's just try to use this int32 as a base class. Okay, let's just try to use this like this, but it is throwing an error. It is throwing a error. What it says, program cannot derive from a seal type, that is int. So this int is a seal type. Now again, what is seal type? Don't worry about that, we will learn that also in a very great detail. When we will learn about classes, about inheritance and everything. But for now, just remember that this int32 or this value type cannot be treated as base class for any other type, and neither it can derive from any or extend any other class, any other type except system.value type. Okay, so as you can see, it will always extend this system.value type, and it cannot be treated as a base class or base type for other types. But in contrast, reference type can do both the things. Okay, so I will show you that. Now we know this class is a reference type. Okay, and what we will do, let me just get rid of this. I will create another class. Okay, so this is also nothing but a reference type. We are creating another class, nothing but a reference type. Okay, so program 1, and let me create that class. Okay, now we have created this class, basically a reference type. Now this reference type, that is class program, can be a base class for this class. Okay, like this. Like this. Okay, it is not throwing any error. So we can use this reference type as a base class for another type, and as well as they can extend any other classes or any other types as well. Okay, so from that we can say, we can justify this point. That is this third point. Okay, so now fourth point, what it says, they cannot have null values but supports nullable types. They can have null values but does not support nullable types. Now just now I have shown you, we can have null, we can store null into value type, but how? by using this nullable operator. Okay, so that's how we can store null type. That's how we can store null value. But we cannot do this in case of reference type. Okay, so I will show you. If I take any object as my data type and I try to make that as a nullable type, so it will throw error. Okay, what it says, feature nullable reference types is not available in C# 7.3. Please use language version 8.0 or greater. Now they have introduced this feature starting from version 8.0 or a greater. Okay, but until now it is not possible that you can use this nullable type with reference type, because reference type can already contain null value without having to use this null type. Okay, so that's how we don't have to use nullable types in case of reference type, that is this object is a reference type. We can use directly this null, we can store directly this null to this reference type. So that's what this point says, that is they can have null values but does not support nullable types, and in contrast value type cannot have null value but supports nullable types if you want to use null into value types. Okay, now this 5th point and 6th point we will be learning in a great detail when we will learn what is the data type conversion, and again when we will learn inheritance in classes. That time you will know what exactly this 2 point means, but for now just we will read those. But what it says, implicit conversion to a type it inherits from is performed indirectly through a tedious operation called as boxing, and in contrast reference type supports directly implicit conversion to a type from which inherits and does not need boxing to be performed. Now what is this boxing and unboxing and what this really means, you will not understand at this point because we have not yet seen what is data type conversion, and also for this 6th point we are not aware of what is inheritance, what is constructor. So that's why we will see them in a very great detail, and alongside we will also know what is boxing and unboxing. So for now let's just read this point as well. They does not permit definition of a parameterless constructor, and in contrast they permit definition of a parameterless constructor. Now don't worry about this point, we will learn in very great detail, we will know in a very great detail about them. So for now these are the differences between value type and reference type. Okay, now let's just quickly see the summary. What it says, system.object class is a base class for all the types in C#. Okay, I have shown you that this system.object is a base class for all the types in C# that are present in C#. Okay, and second, and it is a CTS, that is common type system, which specifies how these types are defined and handled at runtime for managed application. And what is managed application we know, I have told you. And that is 3rd point, value types can have null values with nullable types which were introduced with C# 2.0. That's it for today, and in the next part of this tutorial series we will know what is string type as well as array types in C#. So those two are also built-in data types, but we have not learned those two types in this video because those two contain some vast concepts. Okay, so and we will see them in a very great detail in our next video. So till then stay tuned and subscribe to this channel if you have not yet, so that you will get notification whenever I upload those new parts. And till then stay tuned and thank you.